Welcome to the Chicago Golf Report podcast.
So you have a big event coming up, July 15th, Olympia Fields. Can you kind of give us a little bit of an overview of what the event is and what you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah, so you currently am the group president for ServiceMaster Brands, and a year and a half ago we started a strategic partnership with Hire Heroes USA. What they do is they help honorably discharged veterans and their spouses find their next mission in life. And so last year we hosted two golf tournaments in an effort to raise funds for Hire Heroes USA, two very successful events. We since have seen about 30 events throughout the country from various franchisees, and our tentpole event this year will be at Olympia Fields here coming up soon.
So could you maybe we take a step back? Could you give a little bit of a background, your background, at least with ServiceMaster, and how long you've been with the company?
Yeah, so I've been with ServiceMaster coming up on 4 years. Spent the first, call it 3, as the president of ServiceMaster Restore. What that company does is restoration, so water mitigation, fire, etc. I think, your basement floods, etc. Everything from residential to large loss, commercial. Recently took over 2 other brands, so ServiceMaster Clean, which is a janitorial division, and Aftermath Services, which does bio. And we'll get support from each of those other brands for our event this year. But we're really proud of the partnership and how it's grown, and we continue to want to lean in on the relationship because it feels good to help a cause we all support and feel fantastic about.
So for the event this year at Olympia Fields, what's the goal? What are you trying to look to accomplish?
We'll look to raise another $150,000 at this particular event, and I'm confident we'll exceed that. We've had great support from sponsors and various franchisees. And then what we also are looking to do is we're looking to demonstrate to franchise owners throughout the system, what it looks like, and encourage them to put on events in their local communities, whether it's a golf tournament or a 5K or a turkey trot. It doesn't really matter. We're just trying to support the cause. So there's a little bit of trying to demonstrate how to do it, but we think we'll raise at least another $150,000 that day.
So where did the idea for the event come from, or the events last year that you held?
Yeah, I think knew we were at a place where we wanted to try to pick a philanthropy that we felt really good about. This one just really resonated. ServiceMaster, we think of ourselves as the people with servant hearts. You're often going into hurricane, disaster zones. You're there with people on their worst day, and certainly would never want to compare that directly to a soldier who's in Iraq or Afghanistan. But we do have people that are willing to roll up their sleeves and just help during times of need. And so we thought, great opportunity to help those that have served us find their next mission. And along the way, we have a lot of great careers too. And we figured that would make sense for someone who potentially was attracted to the military and those types of jobs, that there might be good crossover, and there absolutely has.
So we've seen a pretty big influx in the number of events as far as golf charity events, at least in the Chicagoland area. And I think we've seen that nationally as well. It seems like a perfect fit, like you described, between ServiceMaster and Hire Heroes. Was the idea to get involved with golf? Was it something that you just kind of made sense? Like, okay, well, we want to do something philanthropic here. Golf seems to be the right tool, or how did you kind of find the sport of golf there?
Yeah, I mean, candidly, it's something that brings people together, and I figured we'd get good traction from our franchisees, our corporate team, etc. And sure enough, it was a home run last year. And so last year we did 2. This year we're doing one larger event, but where this thing really comes to life is when the franchisees at a local level start having their own regional tournaments. And as we've seen that start to happen, now the flywheel is really spinning, which makes it a lot of fun. So at our convention, we had the opportunity to hand them a sizable check for our efforts last year. And we look forward to years down the road continuing to honor our veterans at our national conventions, everything from not just the money we've raised, but potentially those that we've hired or helped become a franchise owner to anything and everything in between.
I'm not sure how in depth you got involved with last year's events, but raising $150,000 for those events, that's not a small accomplishment. I'm sure it takes a ton of work. Do you have any ideas on how you guys went about going to raise that type of funds?
Yeah, so there's a combination of you're paying your cart fee to come be a part of it. I even pulled my kids out of school, and at the putting green at the turn, we had bottles of nice bourbons, etc. And for $20 a shot, we got to try to hit it. And I want to say my little girl personally felt like she raised about $5,000 at the hole. So a combination of anything and everything in between. And we've gotten great support from corporate partners, franchisees, the franchisor itself, and it's just come together really nicely. So
I guess I'm reminded a little bit. I think I saw in your background you worked for a little bit for Ace Hardware, and I know they do a massive golf outing at multiple events. So I would imagine, I don't know if you attended that, but maybe that spurred some ideas for you.
I got to give Ace Hardware a lot of credit. I learned a lot of great things from that team, and still interact with most of the management team to this day. And you're absolutely right. They do brilliant work for Children's Miracle Network, and there's a lot of what we're doing for Higher Arrows that was inspired by what I saw with Children's Miracle Network and some of those types of golf tournaments, etc.
I think the point that you're touching on, the power that potentially is here, especially with ServiceMaster and your franchise owners, what would you like to see? I mean, do you think that this is the potential that you could have these types of events throughout the country then?
Absolutely. At this point, there's about 30 sanctioned events throughout the country being put on by franchisees. So some of us from a corporate perspective will attempt to attend and support, but that's what candidly I really saw with Children's Miracle Network at Ace that I see starting to begin here is the franchisor, you can play a major role in kind of setting the path and demonstrating what maybe good looks like, but where it really gets powerful is when you've inspired others to go and do the same thing. So I'd love to see this thing continue to snowball. We even are at a point now, we're on our BI dashboard in the morning. You're now 3 clicks away from hiring a hero. So we've integrated their database of qualified veterans looking for work in the respective area where franchisees are looking to hire folks. And it's a fantastic industry. So everything from kind of more entry-level jobs to highly skilled large loss project managers to people who work in the office and run the finance department for a franchise business. So we're excited not just about the fundraising element, but I think there's going to be a lot of great people we're going to personally be able to work with and help find their next mission.
So you mentioned the Children's Miracle Network, Ace Hardware. How did you get connected to Hire Heroes?
We just kind of had the idea and talked about it as a leadership team, and I just felt like let's start doing a little research. I want to say we found 3 or 4 groups and just tried to pick the one that we thought they're big enough that they matter, but also not so big that we could still matter. And it just felt like a really good match. And they're an Atlanta-based company as well, which is not exactly why we selected them, but every interaction we've had with all the right leaders, etc., it's just been pitch perfect. So we vetted a few different companies, and I think we got the right partner, and looking forward to seeing the thing grow.
So in addition to the family involvement that you had last year at the events, what were your takeaways from going through that experience and having that connection for the first time?
Yeah, no, great question. It just really hits home. I was at their gala recently and had an opportunity to sit with their CEO, Ross Dickman, and just to watch veterans who'd gone and served combat tours, and then to hear about 70 times being rejected and applying for their first role, or a military spouse who had been told to work remotely because of COVID, and suddenly her husband gets deployed and they don't want to let her keep her job because she has to go in the office. I mean, it just makes it so real. And so there's great folks at the events that I've met through the galas, etc. And it's just real. These are great people who have done so much. And so it feels really good for us to try to do something small back.
Yeah, that's such a great point, because I think that's one of the real benefits of golf outings in general, charity golf outings, is when you find yourself connected to a cause that's bigger than yourself, but you could also feel the emotions that, the good that you're doing, are you able to share that or hopefully share that with the Service Master folks who get involved in these events? Are you able to sense that they're inspired by being involved?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, we're a service company at heart. And like I said, there's a lot of folks who it's pretty unpleasant, some of the work where you'll live in a motorhome for a month in the middle of a place that's been ravaged by a hurricane. And so you're in some ways a first responder. And, for them to connect those dots with folks who have gone and done that all throughout the world to help protect our great country, you can tell it really matters for people. And we haven't had to twist anybody's arm to get 30 plus events at this point set up. And of course, they're competitive and they all want to outdo each other. And at the end of the day, it's all for a great cause. And everybody gets that we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. And it feels good to do good and do well.
So let's finish up with a couple questions about yourself. Are you still based in the Chicagoland area? Or are you at ServiceMaster headquarters?
No, so I left Naperville, love Chicagoland, and I live in the Atlanta area at this point, and made that move along when I stepped at the ServiceMaster job.
And then what about your background with golf? Did you play growing up? Is this something you kind of gotten into later in life? Where are you at?
I'm a horrible golfer. Right out of, early in my career, I was a Home Depot store manager, and we tried to go play, and we got a promotion, and we moved actually to Atlanta, and I pulled my wife 2,000 miles away from all of her family. So the last thing I was going to go do was be gone all weekend playing golf. So I've sent the clubs, largely put the clubs back down. And so I get out there and try to be good company, but I'm certainly not very good.
And then I guess final question, what do you have in store this year at Olympia Fields? Anything unique or anything that you're kind of promoting, like say, hey, we're going to be, doing this to raise funds, or this is something to look forward to? Perhaps for people who aren't like serious golfers, maybe they're just golf outing.
Yeah, look, we have the full spectrum of fantastic golfers to people like me who are going to hack it around. People bring their kids. I brought my kids last year. So we just try to create a family environment that everybody feels really good about. So whether you're playing golf or just working a booth, everybody feels like they get to be a part of something pretty amazing. So hopefully we'll have some great weather, and we set the bar pretty high last year. So we'll look for an even better event this year at Olympia Fields.